Welcome to Unfiltered Counseling. This podcast is where we talk about things nobody else wants to talk about. Being a human, being married, having kids, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're funny. So This is the place if you want to have real talk and a little therapy on the side.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Kelly Averett. I'm your host.
I'm Dr. John Averett, married to her.
The therapist.
Oh, yeah, that part. Yeah, the therapist part. Yeah, I don't know. You've done some therapy on me, so I think we're both in the same field.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Dealing with people.
The Mrs. and Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor.
Yeah.
So, how was your week?
Week was busy as always in private practice. Fortunate to be busy. But something that I wanted to do here that I have all of our clients do, and I have the clinicians that work in our clinic do, is something we call hunt the good stuff. Now, this is a practice that a lot of people call, gratitude. They journal. It's something that we really worked on a lot when I was a master resiliency trainer working for the military. It's part of their resiliency program. And I feel like I need to explain why, because if soldiers are listening to this podcast and they hear hunt the good stuff one more time, they might throw something at their screen.
They might turn it off.
But I need to explain to everybody else who doesn't understand this, like what is the reason that we do hunt the good stuff, and why the word hunt is important. And so it all comes out of a fight or flight model, where we have this badass system inside of all of us. It's very primitive. It's the same system that all living creatures possess. It's the system that instinctually tells me to fight or run away so that I survive. And the cool part about this system is that it always works. It is always protecting, sometimes overprotecting in the case of humans, but it's always got this radar going to detect threats. So essentially, you have an automatic system that tells you what is bad. Unfortunately, there's not an equal and opposite system that tells you what is good. That's on you. And that's why gratitude practice is so vitally important. Because if you don't practice gratitude as a person, as a human being, nothing's going to do it for you. So all you're getting is negative input all the time. Threat. But what is good?
Yeah, but what you put out is what you get back.
Exactly.
Right? So it sets your mind right.
Exactly. It sets your mind right.
Absolutely.
So the word hunt is very important because it is important.
Some days it's harder to find than others.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Exactly. And so some days the hunt, it lasts a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're
spending
spending a lot
affair.
of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to start every one of these podcasts with your hunt the good stuff and my hunt the good stuff as an example to everybody else of what they can do at home, what they can do with their families, and as we talk later about this episode, what they can do at the dinner table. Okay. All right. So what is your hunt the good stuff for? Now let me some questions, some guided questions here.
Okay.
What did you do this week that was good? What did you appreciate about this week? And are you looking forward to something next week?
Okay. So I always start my day as soon as I open my eyes with, I'm grateful that I got to open my eyes, right? And I have a great house and a great husband. And so I have those affirmations anyway. But my good thing that happened this week, and I call them good things because I start every meeting this way. I start every class that I teach this way. It's, tell me something good. I have the same belief. I don't call it the same thing you do, but even though I should probably.
No, but it's authentic to you. Tell me something good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my good thing that's going to tie into what we're talking about today is that our son, number 4, got his Aggie ring, and neither one of us caught on fire when we stepped foot onto A&M's campus.
To be fair, I was sweating.
You did sweat. You didn't wear orange as directed.
I know.
Good job. So I feel like that's a win, and he's super proud of himself, and it was a good. Yeah. I'm proud of him too. Obviously,
yeah.
I mean,
that's
even
a good
though
one.
He's an Aggie.
That is a good thing that
it was
happened
great
this week.
Yeah,
it was a really good thing that happened.
And it tells us that it's evidence that we did something right.
Yeah,
one thing maybe.
Well, I don't know about the A&M part, but he did. Yeah,
he did something right.
He's successful,
a cool kid.
and he's
a
happy,
cool kid.
and he chose wisely. Yeah, I think that's really important. I could have sworn, like if I was guessing, about your, like when you wake up every day, the thing you appreciate the most was the fact that I bring you your coffee.
That is
I could have sworn that was going to be the answer.
It's true. It is true.
Okay. And I'll settle with.
And there are people that are
eyes.
like, your husband brings you coffee every morning?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Doesn't yours? What's your problem?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And when my lids come off, you put the rubber band on them.
Correct.
So that I don't spill on myself.
That's
you're very thoughtful that way.
We have learned that not all of the lids that go with these coffee cups stay on all the time.
So we are hunting for a better coffee cup.
That's right.
We're on the hunt for that.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, that's a really good example. Something that like a daily practice that people can take away, whether it's at the dinner table, whether it's at night before bed. One of the things that clients talk about in private practice a lot is they're like, God, I can't shut my mind off. I don't get good sleep. And, part of that is if you remain in fight or flight before you go to bed, and you're thinking about all the bad shit that happened that day, or the things that didn't go right, or all the shit you got to do tomorrow. Yeah, you end up going to bed wound up. Your body might be tired, and so you're like, oh, I have to go to bed. My body's exhausted.
Sure.
But your brain thinks, I still got problems to solve, because you're still thinking about things, like what you're doing tomorrow or what went unresolved today. And you take that stuff from the conscious world to the subconscious world, and you're trying to solve problems in the middle of the night. So if people are waking up in the middle of the night and they're still ruminating over some of these things, it's because they went to bed in fight or flight mode. Yeah. And then when you wake up, your cortisol level is already spiked. When you wake up, you're in fight or flight mode. When you go to bed that way, you wake up that way.
True.
And people don't get great sleep that way. So if you practiced hunting the good stuff before you went to bed.
Like the one thing that went well.
The one thing that went well.
Or what you're grateful for.
What did I do today that I am proud of?
Yeah.
What am I looking forward to tomorrow? Right? But
could that not send you in a spiral though? Like if I'm already thinking about what I'm like tomorrow, maybe I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
but maybe it comes with an
Sure.
ass pocket full of things that I'm going to have to do. So maybe I don't is it better just to sit and I don't know. I'm asking.
Well, if you take that, like, what am I looking forward to tomorrow, and analyze, why is this important to me? Like, why am I looking forward to this? You're thinking about the good things.
True.
It allows you to shut fight or flight off. It's not something that you need to do necessarily that and worry about, because I'm really just thinking about the energy I'm going to bring to this event. Like last night, thinking about what we're doing today.
Sure.
Like bringing energy to it. But what it also does is it just puts your mind at ease, and we call that rest and digest versus fight or flight.
Got it.
It can change the impact of your day, and it can certainly help you get better sleep. So I want people to try this at home, like really journal it, talk about it with your kids and your families, and talk about it if you're struggling with connecting with your spouse, what a good way to end the day with your spouse. Instead of arguing, fighting, she goes to bed, you go to bed in different rooms, you're going to stay up and watch a game.
Yeah.
Like, don't end your day that way. End your day together, having this conversation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole nother episode.
That is a whole nother episode.
All right.
Okay.
Hunt the good stuff.
Hunt it. I'm on it.
Okay, cool. All right. So what are we talking about this week?
Let's talk about our kids.
Oh, I love talking about our kids because I feel like this is payback. Like, we get to say a whole lot of shit about our kids.
And they're not on here to argue with us about
exactly.
it. Like, finally, we can say whatever we want,
exactly.
and they're really, if it's a lie, they're not going to be here to say, that's not how it happened at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. That's what we're saying.
And anyone that's ever been around our kids knows when those four boys are together, nobody else can get a word in.
It's a freaking adventure.
And
the girlfriends don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
It's a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Nobody shuts up.
Correct. Yeah. Even at their ages now, between 29 and 20.
They're almost 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting old. Mm-hmm. So
seasoned.
I love talking about kids this week because I did see a video this week I saw it on TikTok, but it's part of a podcast that former women's soccer players Abby Wambach and Julie Foudy are on. I think it's called Welcome to the Party.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah.
And the snippet that I saw was them like begging parents to stop watching every minute of every practice that their kids do and their kids have. And I was like, yes, thank you. Because
as a former coach,
or a former,
not a former parent, but as a parent.
Yeah, but like that, it's a tough thing. Like as a former coach, the worst thing ever was like having parents show up for practice. And I get it when they're little, like 5 years old, 6 years old. And I get it because there's a lot of management there of a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old, like trying to run around. Even younger, I've seen like 3 and 4-year-olds playing little soccer, you know. But as they get older, there is a clear transition from the parent who's there to help manage a kid's behavior to the parent is there to manage the coach's coaching. And the parent now is like trying to input something. And I'm as guilty as anybody of watching too many practices that our kids participated in and then fighting the urge to coach them in the car after the practice. And it inspired way too many arguments and hurt feelings. And the cool part about not being present for all of their practices is now your kid gets to learn how to hear coaching from someone else, but they're developing their own style. And then when they get home, you have something to talk about.
True. And they get to fail on their own.
They get to fail on their own.
I mean, they get to make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Without their parent going, I saw you did that and you did that too. Especially if you're a parent that puts a lot of pressure on your kids. It can be counterintuitive.
That part right there reminds me of a story and you know this story from years ago. Now, I've been out of high school coaching for like 16 years now. So this story goes back 20 years or so. And it years ago when I flew to Chicago to go to this big time basketball clinic because it was going to be Gino Auriemma, Bob Knight, Pat Summitt, legendary late coach Pat Summitt, and then some player development guy from the Celtics. And they were going to use real players and do a bunch of drills.
I remember
and I was like, holy cow, this is going to be great. So I get there and there's like 2,000 coaches in the bleachers. We're in this D3 gym. It's a big gym in Chicago. And it was Pat Summitt's turn, and I'd already taken a bunch of notes and from the other guys. And Pat Summitt walks out, and I'm like, Pat Summitt's legendary. She's been coaching at the University of Tennessee for 40 plus years. She took over when they were still wearing collars on their uniforms. Women's basketball players were wearing collars. Yeah. And so she's tough, and anybody that remembers watching her coach, tough and aggressive and really hard on her players, but they won a lot of games. They won a lot of national championships. And in the state of Tennessee, she was royalty. And she starts this talking about, telling all of us about, everywhere she goes in Tennessee, how are the recruits going to be? We're going to beat UConn this year. We're going to win another national championship. Everywhere she goes, it's Coach Summitt, Coach Summitt, Coach Summitt, right? And then her son at that time, she was telling the story that at one point her son was like 4 and 5 years old, and she signed him up to play soccer. And she was so excited because finally she got to go just be a mom. Take her son, like every other parent, to soccer, sit in the bleachers, shoot the shit, watch the kid play, and go home. And it's not about Tennessee women's basketball. So she was saying that in the league that he played in, they didn't play 2 big giant halves. They played 4 little quarters, like 5 or 10 minute quarters, because they're 5. They can't go for 45 minutes at a time. They got to break it up. Okay. So game starts. There's her kid out there on the soccer field. And she's like, this is great. I just get to watch and cheer. I don't ever get to do this. So game starts, and there he is just standing there. And she's like, damn it. I got that kid. I got the kid who's going to pick the daisies. Shit. And she's like, I got to say something. So she's got the urge to coach. Like that's what she does anyway. So she's like, and she's listening to the parents and they're yelling at their kids. She's like, they're yelling at their kids. Why can't I yell at my kid? So the quarter ends. He runs over. She's like, I'm going to say something. I'm going to coach him up. Right? Big deal. First thing out of his mouth is, I'm doing great, huh, Mom? And she's like, I melted. And she's like, yeah, man, you're doing great. Are you having fun? He's like, yeah, Mom, having fun. She's like, all right, buddy. Here's your orange slice. Here's your water. All right, get back out there for the second quarter, right? Go, go, go. Second quarter starts. There he is again, standing still, flat-footed. And she's like, I can't take it. So here's where it gets weird for her. She starts to get these thoughts. The other parents are looking at me. They know who I am. I'm Coach Summitt. I'm aggressive and loud. My players are aggressive. We play hard. But look at her kid. He's just standing there. So she can't take it anymore. She's in her head about what the other parents are thinking. Second quarter ends, he comes over. She's like, hey, man. Hey, do you see what the other kids are doing? They're running. They're kicking the ball. They're having fun. Kick the ball down there. You see how they run and chase it, and they're laughing. Don't you think that would be fun too? And he's like, yeah, Mom. He's like, do you think you could try it? And he's like, yeah, Mom. All right, buddy. Here's your orange slice. Here's some water. Go play. Third quarter starts. He's doing it. And she's like, I sat a little taller in the bleachers. Like, yep, that's all it took. Little parenting, little coaching, a little parenting. I feel accomplished as a parent. Third quarter ends. He even kicked the ball, I think, is what she was saying. Third quarter ends. The coach calls him over. And she's like, uh-oh. She could tell. Coach is like talking to him and pointing. And he's pointing. He's pointing at their goal. And at this point, again, she's in front of 2,000 coaches. She stops, she pauses, she looks around, she goes, you know, I've been coaching basketball for over 40 years. How the fuck do I know what a goalie's supposed to do? At that point, she goes, parents, know your role. She dropped the mic and walked out of the gym.
Wow.
And I'm like,
what a great story, though.
I went to Chicago to learn how to be a better basketball coach, and I got a parent lecture.
Yeah.
From one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Sure.
So that's really important because that scenario paints this picture that's still happening. And I think it's gotten worse over time. Parents showing up all the time, okay? And not giving their kid an opportunity to be coached by someone else, fail on their own, and giving the parent a chance to just be a parent.
So I think it makes me wonder, what's their purpose? Are they trying to live vicariously through their kid because that's what they really want to do? That's what they wanted to do, or that's what they're used to? Yeah. We got lucky because you're trying to coach Kellen on pole vault. Yeah. You're not a freaking pole vaulter. No. Okay. You didn't know shit about pole vault. No. It was great. You could coach him on the mental aspects of the game. Yeah. Sometimes you could pull him out of a rough spot.
No, that was your job.
Sometimes. Yeah. Most of the time I just had to make him laugh and we would move on. But I think it was great that it wasn't basketball. Yeah. We have 4 sons. Yes. 50% of them are athletic. Yeah. The other 2, the number 4 that should have been 6 foot tall and has this freaking spread of reach. Yeah. Not interested at all in any athletics. So I know that was a little sad for you. You wanted 4 basketball players.
Yeah. I thought I had a team going.
No, not so much.
Yeah. No.
So I think that happens with parents though. I think they try to live through their kids and they are worried about what are people going to say about me and what are people going to think about my kid. You can't help but do that. They're an extension of you. But if you remember that your purpose is to set up a situation and set up an environment as a parent and in your relationship with your child to help them grow on their own, also fail on their own with support, I think that if you remind yourself of that, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. What I've noticed that in working with parents and kids, they bring kids to our clinic a lot at various ages, all the way like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old even. And we do a lot of parent stuff, because we can go an hour with a kid once a week in play therapy, but we really need also an hour with the parent 100%. Alone in play therapy. Sure. Like in really coaching them and interacting with their kid. I think sometimes what it boils down to, unfortunately, is they are living vicariously through their kid. They played in high school. Some of them may have played in college, but they're not allowing their kid to develop self-esteem because the parent is worried about their own self-esteem. Where am I compared to other parents?
But sometimes I think it's you don't know. Okay, when you have littles, you don't really know what you're doing. Most people, right? No, you don't know. No, and so you and I always had this drive to build our kids up and give them opportunities to do things on their own. We also had very strong-willed kids. So it was really, that's why Kellen could scrub a floor at 2, right? He went to Montessori school, he could scrub a floor because if he was not busy, he was naughty.
That's why he was watering the plants at
naked.
18 months in the front yard naked.
With a hat.
Right.
I know. We didn't even know where he was.
He knew to wear a sun hat.
We were asleep though, and it was like 6:30, but whatever. Scary. Thank God he didn't run away.
Yeah. We had chores to do, so no, he wasn't
going to do that. Yeah. That's where his work ethic came from. But I would say that we worked really hard to set up situations where they were going to do for themselves, whether it's being 2 years old and being able to put your coat on by flipping it over. And we were like, oh, great job. Look at you. You did that on your own. We praised that. There are family dynamics where that is not praised.
Right.
That they feel like their job is to wait on their kids and meet every need that a child has when they're teeny tiny.
Right.
And so they don't really offer them. They might hurt themselves. We weren't like that. We were like, okay, give it a try. We're here to catch you. Go ahead, give that a try.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go well, we can try again.
Yeah. You did a lot more of that than I did. Your early jobs were all in elementary education and teaching, and effectively praising the effort and effectively praising like performance, that kind of thing. Like
I learned that lesson too late.
Well, no.
I learned that lesson too late because Carol Dweck wasn't around right then.
Well,
right?
that's true.
Fixed mindset versus growth mindset.
Yeah.
So with Jake, I don't know how many times we're like, oh my God, he could name marsupials at 12 months old, and he could tell you all of the animals that were indigenous to continents, and he could just regurgitate all these things and be like, oh my gosh, you're so smart, you're so amazing. As maybe not now, but as he grew up, he fought for that label. He wouldn't take a risk if he was afraid that label would fall off.
Yeah.
Because I didn't build enough opportunity for him to see his worth even when he failed, or to praise the things like, hey, you worked really hard, or I like the way that you did that. I like the way you used that color. So I think it's important to be mindful of praise. Feedback's important. Feedback is just feedback. Praise is important. But we did not do well. I did not do well with Jake because I set him up a little bit, and it was a little bit longer to undo that.
Yeah. I
agree. It's okay. Say it. Yes, we all screw up. It's fine.
But again, he's first.
Alive.
He's alive.
I kept him alive.
If you Google books on parenting, you're going to get a million hits. Sure. And that's because there's a
million opinions about how you should do it. You're right.
And you're right. Growth versus fixed mindset. That stuff is somewhat new in literature, but it feeds right into like the psychosocial stages of development at these early ages. It's like, how do kids develop their own industry versus inferiority? What are they doing is good versus what they're doing is bad. And if you constantly just say, you're so smart, you're so wonderful, you're so pretty, you're so handsome, I'm so proud of you, but you never explain why, eventually the smart kid's going to go, why are they telling me this? And because I don't feel this way. And so they're going to hide behaviors they think might risk the label that you gave them. Mm-hmm. And so you got to promote sort of this conversation with feedback. It's like that dad video that's going around everywhere where he's got the little 2-year-old who's he can't even put a sentence together, but the kid looks like Babe Ruth.
He can put a sentence together.
He's cute as hell, though.
He's in his PJs and he's hitting a baseball. He's in his
PJs and he's ripping liners up the middle.
Yeah,
and the dad's got a motorcycle helmet, and it's
just in case.
But the feedback the dad is giving him is awesome, and he's very specific with it, and the kid's responding to it. But the kid also feels a certain level of autonomy and choice, and it's a really great way to, like, I hope that continues when this kid is in high school and, dad's in the bleachers. Hopefully the dad's not in the bleachers with a radar gun going faster, faster, faster. Colleges are watching. I hope that doesn't get to that. I hope it's still about this pure enjoyment.
But I think the lesson or learning for me, and I watch it even as adults and dealing with adults, feedback is just feedback.
Yeah.
You have a choice. You do something with it or you don't.
Yeah.
This is a way that you can be better or not. Mm-hmm. Take it or leave it. Like, you still have choice. Yeah. It's just feedback, and you shouldn't get wrapped around the axle about it.
Yeah.
You get to decide and you get to take it. But even in any relationship, if somebody starts talking about something they would like for you to do differently, what do?
Yeah.
We freak out, we shut down, we get emotional, we get anxious, or we get angry most of the time, because being angry is way easier than being embarrassed or sad or anything else. Let me just be pissed off and then throw my bat or throw my stuff or quit this team. I don't want to play this team on this team anymore. Or I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah.
And walk off. And as parents, you have to say, no, that's not how we're going to handle that.
Yeah.
And I see that. Are you angry or are you embarrassed? Why are you embarrassed? Let's talk about that. And so I think that a lot of times we perpetuate the angst when we have not really used feedback just as it is. It's just feedback.
Yeah. So what are you and I have talked about this a lot too. We have some our own mantras.
We do.
Our own little sayings that sort of guide how we have raised our own kids. And again, not saying that what we've done is perfect. Certainly not. But it's things that like we've done with our own kids that maybe we learned along the way, and some of that we've erased and rewritten and whatever. We learn some of it doesn't work.
The one thing that I think about a lot, like the place that I really understood our kids, and I do the same thing with you. No offense.
Yeah, I know. It was a 2-hour drive up here.
On the way here.
I'm aware.
It's the side-by-side car ride.
Yeah.
So there's something about being in a car and not having to look at the other person. You're just staring ahead. The things they will tell you, the things they will be honest about, the things that they will, especially if they don't want the silence to do the heavy lifting, if it's bothering them. I have learned more about our kids, some things I want to unlearn, things I didn't really necessarily need to know. But when they were teenagers, and even now, like I've said to you before, I think such and such and I need to go, we need a side-by-side car ride. We've got to talk this through. Whether they have relationship issues or whatever, I know that space.
Yeah.
They are going to be the most vulnerable and the most honest with me because they don't have to look at my face. They can't see my facial expression. So if the Dysport is worn off and they don't know, they're not going to have to see my eyes flash, any of those things, because I can't always control that.
Yeah.
But it's really a safe kind of space.
Yeah. Well, think about, I think from a connection standpoint too, I think a lot of if you're across from your kid,
like this,
like we are right here, right? And you got to have a hard conversation with your kid, or you're trying to get to the heart of a matter, whatever it is, whether you're talking about their grades or their sports or their whatever, decisions like breaking curfew, whatever, whatever's going on with your kid. Think of the difference between we're at a kitchen table and I'm across from you. This is like principal, student, disciplinarian, and then the offender versus I'm going to sit next to my kid on the couch. And we're going to sit next to each other. It's a totally different vibe.
Sure.
It's a different connection. And so I think that's
more equal. It's an equal stance instead of
like we're talking and not punishing.
Yeah.
Now, there have been times where we've been across the table from our kids, and those times are warranted. But when we're really trying to get to our kids to communicate with us, we're side by side, right? We're not. It's not that we're best friends, but that's why I think that side by side car ride is really powerful, because we're in it together. I mean, you're in the car together.
Well, and you're a captive audience. Okay, let's just be honest.
That's true. Yeah.
It's going to be 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
So we can make the best of it or not. I mean, it's really up to you. It could be real fun or real miserable.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pick the music. Yeah. So what do you relent, tell me what I want to know.
Exactly.
That's not true. But
no. Okay. All right. So side by side car ride is a takeaway for one thing that we've always done, and that's you've done that. You started that, and I think it's been really effective for us.
It works on you as well.
Well, I mean, we've both done it, right? Yeah. We've spent a lot of time in the car with our kids.
Yeah, we have for sure.
Okay. All right. What are some other mantras that we've lived by?
I think as a family, as I think one of the things that was important to you, and that you articulated to me, was that our boys be best friends.
Yeah.
And that they kind of are like the Fighting Sullivans, and that they rely on each other, because we're going to die at some point, and they're going to only have each other, and they need to rely on each other.
Yeah.
And so that was always really important to us. And so as a result of that, we have this family cultural belief that we show up.
Yeah.
We show up for each other.
Yeah, the Fighting Sullivans, that always puts me in a good mood, that movie. It's this old movie from the 40s and I think late 40s, right after World War II, about 5 brothers. It shows them as little kids and how they used to fight like crazy, but then they also used to fight everybody else in the neighborhood too. So like if you mess with one, you mess with all.
Yeah.
And they all joined the Navy together, and they made a big deal about it. And I think it's still the reason why, like, siblings, when they join the military, can't be stationed at the same place or go to the same combat theater or whatever, right? It's kind of the basis of Saving Private Ryan as well. But that movie always stuck with me. And when, luck would have it, we had 4 boys, so we were close to the 5 Fighting Sullivan brothers. And that it just is, I think that's the we show up part for each other is so important. So, but what is it about we show, like you're always say we show up, and the boys are like, but they love it now. They get it now.
Well, they use it against me most of the time.
Sometimes.
Because.
And it's not we show up at every practice.
No. Clarify. No. It's we show up for the important shit. Always.
Yeah.
You show up for each other.
Yeah.
Even when it's inconvenient, even when you don't want to, even when you have other things you'd rather be doing, it is the priority.
Right.
And so when we go to Grayson's ring ceremony last Friday, we all showed up. When things fall apart with our boys, they all rally, they show up, and they go move someone out of an apartment a bad situation, or they definitely believe that. They did not like it when they were little, because that meant we drug them around to our family events and different things that they really didn't want to do. They wanted to stay home, or they wanted to be with their friends, and we would just say, nope, we show up. This is what we do. This is who we are. This is how we are. And so, but I think it's paid off for them, and I don't think they would do it differently. But a lot of times when they were younger, it was showing up, kicking and screaming.
Well, it was hard for us because when we had to go, like, I don't say have to go, when we wanted to go to see, to a wedding or graduation or whatever, we were packing up 4 kids, right? So it was certainly a lot of
adventure.
Work. Adventure and a lot of work, but it has paid off because this belief that we've had makes our boys tight, and that's important, right? To have that, and I don't know, that's important to me because I didn't feel like I had that when I was a kid, and so I don't know. I like it that our boys are close like that. So we show up, period,
and we do our best work.
We do our best work as
whether
another
you're
mantra.
Sweeping a floor,
exactly.
or doing your homework. We do our best work.
Exactly.
We do our best work. We talked about that. And
well, that right, we do our best work. That's it's funny too because as a parent, when we see them do something, and we know how we would do it, right? Sometimes I feel like as a parent, and all parents, I'm gonna throw us under the bus here a little bit, and let's throw all parents under the bus here a little bit. And I want parents to be very careful, okay? Because things that we also preached: independence, being disciplined, doing our best work, like choosing right and wrong, take responsibility for your actions. These are all great lessons, right?
Yeah.
But as our kids got older, and as we focused on do your best work at all times, our kids are exercising the things that we are teaching them: independence, independent thought, autonomy. And when they did express some independence and tried some things without us. Ooh. Yeah. And it wasn't what we would have done or how we would have done it. Parents have to be careful not to swoop in at that moment and take over or tell their kids all the things they did wrong. It's that because that's a teaching point for the child.
Sure.
It's not an opportunity for you to swoop in and tell them as a parent, the right way to do
Ooh,
it.
that's
prove
hard.
it's so hard.
So hard because especially as they get older, because you can't spank them and put them in timeout and take things away. You can't ground them anymore. You just have to white knuckle it and go, oh, gosh, I hope that all those things we taught you stuck. Yeah. Oh, I believe in you. Oh, gosh.
We've white knuckled quite a bit. I think we got pretty good grip strength from all the white knuckling we've done with the 4 boys,
it's tough.
right?
It's tough.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it for them, because when they fall and they have enough self-confidence now to pick themselves up and redo or move forward.
Well, that's the thing.
They learn something.
But even from the parent perspective at that point, like, do you want the self-esteem hit to go in and tell your kid all the things so that you feel good about, I taught my kid something.
Sure.
Or would you rather have the self-esteem from when they pick themselves up and you got to say, yeah, that's my kid? I'd rather have that feeling to watch them fall and get back up, right? It's like when we taught them how to ride bikes. And just like all parents who teach their kids how to ride bikes, you start with training wheels and you're grabbing the back of the bike and here we go, and you're jogging behind and you're getting, like, you're breaking out in a sweat, making sure that they don't fall off the bike because they don't have the balance. And then you take the training wheels off and here you go again. And like, you're jogging behind the bike, right? Like, you're being pulled by this kid. Eventually, as a parent, release. And there they go, right? And then inevitably, the first time they do that, they're going to fall down. That's a huge moment in the life of a parent and the kid. But as a parent, you have a moment of opportunity. Most parents would say, I run to them to make sure they're okay. That's an opportunity. Just take a beat, breathe in, breathe out, assess. Are they getting up? Because if you rob them the opportunity to get up on their own, you might be setting up a scenario where you're going to be picking them up for a very long time for every little thing that they fall. You've got to give them an opportunity to get back up.
It's that the fear of failure becomes too big.
Yeah.
And some kids will get paralyzed. Adults get paralyzed by this fear of failure. And we don't know that we're doing that to them when they're little.
No.
I mean, as parents, we don't know that we're setting, but if you're setting up situations where you've got an anxious attachment with a kid, where you've seen these kids, they won't try the monkey bars without looking behind, and they're checking to see, am I okay? They're waiting for you to tell them if they're okay. And then when they fall, they're waiting for you to tell them if they're okay. They need to know if they're okay.
Yeah.
And they're being denied the opportunity to self-regulate, identify how they really feel, and then have some autonomy to move forward in a different way.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That is kind of the warning.
Man, you brought back a memory, as a coach, the kids that would make a mistake in a basketball game and they would look at their parents. Usually I would sub that kid out and go, you want to look at your parents? Good, look at them from over there.
Of course you would.
Like, we don't have time for this. Let's go. This is a basketball game.
The game.
The game's going by. Like, quit looking at your mom and dad about the mistake you just made. But that's so true about, like, they're going to look to you to see if they're okay, and they won't have to look far if you're right there all the time trying to pick them up.
But wouldn't you rather them look to you and go, like, I know you love me, and I know you're in my corner?
100%.
Rather than I need you to save me.
Yeah.
I think that's different.
Exactly. And so parents have to be very careful about, what are they doing? Are they saving them, or are they letting them know they're okay? So that's tricky. So be careful. So as we wrap up the episode, parents, just take that bike example and see where that applies in your lives with your kids. Are you making sure that they're okay, or are you saving them? Right? Are you enabling them to always have to need you? Because at some point, wouldn't it be great to be proud of the way they handle stuff and not that you swooped in?
It is great when we've gotten to see our kids do it on their own.
Absolutely.
And we go, wow, you made a really good decision. Now we don't, I think our approach now is, so how'd that go?
Yeah.
And they come and they say, this went terrible. So what'd you do? How'd that go?
Yeah.
What would you do differently next
That's
time?
why I was so proud of Grayson. He went out.
It sounds like he's our favorite kid. But he's not.
Well, he went to A&M, so no. So
I knew that was coming.
So definitely not.
Number 1 and number 3 always say that they're the favorites, and that I prove all the time that they're the favorites.
That's why we have to tell number 1 and 3 that they're not.
We tell them that they are. We tell all of them that they are, and then they're all confused, and then it's a battle. And
so parents, what I want you to take away, if you're listening to this episode, is 1, I want you to check yourself, okay? I have no doubt if you're listening to this, you love your kids. Why would you listen to any episode about any parenting if you didn't love your kids? Right? I mean, come on. But I want you to evaluate, like, are you doing things to feed your own self-esteem at the expense of your kids? Okay? The cool part about protecting our kids is if you're protecting their self-esteem, in the end, you'll feel good about this, and you will actually like develop some parenting self-esteem by watching your kids be able to handle it on their own, right? Like when Grayson sees his bank account dwindling and he goes on his own to get a job, and we're both like, what? You did what? And he's like, yeah, like I was like needing money, so I went and got a job. Right? And so I was like super proud, like, oh my God.
We didn't have to tell him.
He solved his own problem and he didn't ask us for money. Win-win.
We're winning.
Right?
We're winning.
So watch out for whose self-esteem are we most concerned about? Whose resilience are we most concerned about? Yours or your kids?
I think that the biggest takeaway or the nugget for me was self-esteem comes from overcoming adversity. And if you swipe adversity from your kids, you're denying them the opportunity to build self-esteem.
God, that's awesome.
That's just my...
Well put.
Thanks.
That rocks.
I sleep with a counselor. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
It's a public service.
Do I know? I'm just kidding. All right.
Yeah, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us here on Unfiltered Counseling. We'll see you next time.